Well, what's up again there, guys? Brian here, D3 Topics Gamer, and I have another one of my awesome tier list style ranking videos to share with you guys today. Now, currently I am playing through Doom the Dark Ages in order to get my review set up for that, and I'm pretty far throughout the game. I think I'm at chapter like 13 out of 22. So I figured this will be actually a really solid time for me to actually go through the main series of Doom games and some of their expansions and just do a general ranking of how I feel about the Doom franchise. I think right below Halo, I do consider Doom to be probably the second greatest first-person shooter franchise of all time, and I'm a 90s kid, so I did happen to grow up with the first number of Doom games, like Doom 2, and then Doom 64. So that's what we're going to do today. So if you do happen to enjoy this ranking video by the end, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to track me on my future videos. And remember, if you guys have any ideas for any rankings, reactions, or discussions, please let me know what you would like to see in the comments down below, and I will try to get up as soon as I can, as well as to give you a shout out. Now, I did happen to find a number of different rankings, and I found this one. And this one is pretty simple. I know there's like a number of like semi-expansions that aren't here, but I think that for the core set of Doom games, I think this is a good list from my personal experience. Now, the ones I do want to knock out are just the ones that I don't like and the ones that I did not play. And so far, the only ones on here that fit that description is I did not have a chance to play any of the expansions for Doom Eternal. I know it had 2 of them. I did not get a chance to play either one of them. But I did have a chance to test out Doom VFR. And I flat out am just not a fan of just VR games in general. I've never been a fan of them. I think I tried the PlayStation VR once at like an E3 or a PlayStation experience, and I was just not a fan. There's only like a handful of games in VR that I'm a fan of, and this was certainly not one of them. So I think with these 9 games, this is a solid foundation. So I'm just gonna go from this one, from Mighty Doom. It's not really my cup of tea. I'll give them credit for trying to take the Doom franchise and do something different, but like, in my opinion, Doom is at its absolute best when it's a first-person shooter, and when they try to expand it, it could have some positive results, but other times it doesn't. It's okay. I tried it once for a little bit and I moved on. Like, this is harmless for what they're trying to do. Next, we have Doom 3. Now, the funny thing is, I actually just finally got myself a copy of Doom 3. This is technically the BFG edition that came out on PlayStation 3, and I am playing through it, and it's something I was always curious about, but it definitely feels so different from any other Doom game in the first-person shooter franchise. But I would still put it in like, I think I'd put it in B. Well, I take that back. I put it like in a low A. It's a lot slower. Instead of these wide open areas, it's like a lot of closed corners. It's very dark, and so they certainly want to take the Doom aesthetic and push it in a very, very, very heavy horror atmosphere. And I think that can work. I mean, there's been a lot of times where you'll be caught off guard, you'll be hit in the back, or something will come out of the darkness and your flashlight won't be working. So I admire what they did, and I think it works to some degree, but I can openly admit that if you're a traditional Doom fan, or if you're a fan of Doom and its traditional aesthetic, this might not work for you. But for someone who was always curious, I do think I'm so far having a pretty solid time with this one. I still haven't beaten it yet, but I am having a good time with it. Next, we have Doom 64. I thought it was okay. I didn't like it as much as some of the earlier games, but I did like it, so that's where I would put it. Next, we have Doom 2. This is easily probably the top tier A game here. It's easily, in my opinion, the best in, like I say, the 90s era, in my opinion. I mean, there's like a number of like different variations, but I do think Doom 2 is definitely the best in that department. And that is followed closely by the very first Doom, the one that started it all. It's still a classic. A lot of people, even to this day, still consider it to be the best Doom. And I don't feel that much, but I do think that it set the standard. Like, if you're going to measure any Doom game against any other one, this is the one you want to compare it to. It started, it's still a classic, still people play it to this day. I still play it to this day whenever I have some free time, and it's still a pretty good game. Now we have the primary trilogy of current Doom games, and this is where it's going to be a little bit different, because I've seen many rankings and everyone is a little bit different. So coming in third, in my opinion, I'd have to go with Doom Eternal. Really like it. It does have some advantages over 2016's Doom. Where I think it's at its weakest, in my opinion, was its story. I don't think it did very, very good with the lore or explaining it very well. I think gameplay-wise, it was fine. Having the primary hub, your base, I thought that was a solid addition. I think the weapon collection is great. I think the soundtrack is pretty solid. I just think that with the story not being... like, they tried to expand it, but sometimes when it comes to a Doom game, you kind of want to keep it as simple as possible. At least you have like a really, really good plot. And in my opinion, out of the primary 3 games, the most recent 3 games, I do think Doom Eternal's plot is the weakest. And I'm a story-driven gamer, so story is big for me. So if you can't have a really, really good game, it's still fun to play and it's okay. But I just think the story could have been simplified a little bit more and therefore be a little bit better, which is why it takes the number 3 space on my list. Next, I'm gonna have to go with Doom the Dark Ages. That's gonna take the number 2 spot. I'm only 12, I think I'm 13 chapters out of 22 through, and I really, really like it. This one, in my opinion, has the strongest, more fleshed out story. It goes more into the lore. Doomslayer is a lot more proactive, and he's interacting with a whole bunch of different characters and different casts. They do a lot more with the lore, and it's a lot simpler to understand than it was in Doom Eternal. Gameplay-wise, it's fine. Weapons are pretty cool. However, there are some weapons that you'll get early on in the game, and then you'll get like a slightly different variation of that gun later on, and then you'll find yourself wondering why. I won't use the older version because it's similar but a little bit different, and then the newer version is better, so I find myself not using some of the earlier guns. I do really like how it has variety in gameplay styles. Like, you can control a mech, you can fly a dragon. I absolutely am a fan of that. Like, trust me, Doom is at its strongest when it's a first-person shooter, but if you can expand it and it actually makes sense in the story you're trying to tell, I think it works just fine, so I really enjoyed that. My biggest issue is I have 2 big issues with Doom Eternal, The Dark Ages so far, and I think number 1, the music is not that good. Like, it's not bad, but it's nowhere near as good as an Eternal in 2016. And on top of that, I think having 22 chapters is a bit too much. I think this game is a bit too long for a Doom game. I just looked and I realized that Doom 2016 has only 9 chapters. Doom Eternal has 13 chapters. This is 22 chapters. I think this would have worked a lot better had it been just 16 chapters. You can have 3 chapters where you're flying your dragon, 3 chapters where you're controlling your mech, and then 10 chapters where it's just standard shooting. I think had they done that, it to me would feel a little bit tighter, because I know how the rest of the chapters are going to play out. So I think had they cut some of these chapters down, they had perhaps condensed the weapon variety, and it had better music, it probably would be my favorite Doom. And I'll certainly go more in depth when I do my review, when I get it out, after I get this video out. But right now, it does take the 2nd spot. But without question, in my opinion, the best Doom game that I've ever played is Doom 2016. This ostensibly is what the first Doom is in the modern era. Like, it is like, this is what Doom would be in its purest form. It may be very, very light on plot, and there's not a lot of plot, but the thing is that Doom doesn't have to have a deep plot. It can have a simple premise, it just gives you a couple of guns, and it just tells you, go out and start killing demons while heavy metal is blasting as you're killing. It is very, very fast paced. I think the level structure is exactly what it needs to be. The boss fights are very, very cool. They're entertaining. The weapon collection, it's not very expensive, but it's a good amount of weapons, and it just feels right. Like, it really, like, I have really no flaws. Like, sometimes there's something about it being the simplest that works, and it still has the best music, simplest plot, doesn't need to be very expansive, and it's just the most fun to play. It's easily the one that I would say is the one game that you just pick up, you start playing, and you'll have the most fun, which is why, in my opinion, Doom 2016 is, in my opinion, the best Doom game ever made. So that is my ranking of the main set of Doom games. I know there's like a couple of extra ones, but I just didn't think they were necessary for this particular list. So if you've played most or some of these games, how would you rank them? Share your ranking with me and everyone else in the comments down below. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll catch you guys next time.